Gears ready.
Hello, folks. Welcome to round six of the IRC Astrocosa Competizione League. So, as we know, this is the first time we're doing this league, and we are now in it. We're today in we're racing in Hungaroring in Hungary, and this is a track that generally is a very mixed bag for us F1 fans. But I'm pretty sure with GT3 cars, with their inherent nature, it's going to be a much more exciting race. I'm joined today by our fellow members, uh, Madhav and Addy. So guys, what are your expectations for today's race?
Madhav, why
Um,
don't you go ahead?
Yep.
yeah. So this track in F1 is famously known to be difficult to overtake. I don't know about GT3 cars
Yep.
as much. I would need to give a opinion about that, but
Yep.
we'll see in today's race.
Yep, I think we'll find out how different the experience is compared to the F1 experience, how the GT3 experience goes. What about you, Addy? What is your experience for the race? I mean, what is the expectation?
Yeah, my expectations are, it's inherently a hard track to overtake. The people are stuck in dirty air behind because there are a lot of corners on this track, and it's it will be good to see that how these GT3 cars perform here.
Yep. So as we say that we are the practice for the race has ended, and now now they have begun. We are about to start with quali. So now let us go see how our drivers are doing. Yep. The session has ended, or in fact, qualifying has begun with around 14 minutes left on the clock. So right now, almost every driver is out in the pits, with the exception of KC66, KC, Chinoy, and Habib.
A lot of new liveries today.
Yeah, quite a lot actually, and I think this is actually one of the most fully packed grids with nearly. I think this is the highest yet. I think the highest pit rate was 17, and we actually have 18 racers on track today.
I think last week we
And
had 21.
yep, and one sec, I'll just turn down the audio. The game's audio is absolutely hammering my ears.
There is a lot of traffic today, so let's see how the first cars overtake these the back markers in the race, because yes, it will be hard for them to overtake, and let's see how the race changes after that.
So Adi, I believe this is your first experience watching ACC. So something I'd like to introduce is that in ACC there is something called balance of power, which is that every car is nearly like good in one part or the other. So if there's a car that has exceptional straight line speed, mostly that car would not have very good what do you call cornering speed. So this is something that makes it very interesting in ACC.
Balance power is basically match the horsepower and the weight of the car.
Yep.
Yeah, it brings a sense of realism into the game, and it's fun to watch.
Yep, absolutely. As we are now on board, and Tyagi seems to pull over. Let us go into the drivers on track right now. So Casey, who seems to be right now moving quite slowly, and I think he will be beginning his lap. So far, not.
He's on an out lap.
Yep, and he seems to have a completely clear track ahead of him.
Yeah, that's a beautiful looking livery with the
Yep.
Indian flag.
I must admit, Casey has had one of the better liveries through this particular season so far.
It's good
Going
to see
down into
Casey in such a high position in all of the previous races that I watched in such a bulky and heavy car. It shows how the drivers handle the cars in this game. They know
Yep.
how to perform, and they just go at it.
Yep. As we talk about drivers, we have our drivers who has now set their quickest time, which is okay. This game is. Give me a second. So we have A. Chowdhury who has set his lap right now. Okay, wait. Yep. Okay. Okay, this game is. Sorry about that. It's very confusing how the drivers switch because unlike F1, I cannot move it in the same order as standings. It's in terms of track position and gets extremely confusing. So yeah, so we have so right now we have Dwaragnath who's on pole right now. And something I would like to highlight is that a lot of drivers have actually changed their cars compared to the previous race. And as we see, we see a car who is now off track, which is a Mercedes of Kapil Bharat, one of the very few front engine cars in this particular track. Yep. So who do you think before we start go into I think right now drivers setting bankers, and I think they'll be aiming to become faster as the session goes on. But which car catches your eyes, guys? I want to ask you guys personally, which car do you think is really makes you go whoa?
I think
For
I saw
me,
someone in a pink Porsche that just
yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I think I know the driver. I think it's
It's
yep, you
Dwajin.
just saw it on the street.
Yeah,
yep,
it's Dwajin.
it's Dwajin. Yep.
That car is
Yep.
beautiful.
Yeah,
A German.
paying tribute to the pink pig
Yep.
car.
You could say it is a German racing point. Yeah, but let's see if they are the dark horse of this race. Thankfully, at least this pink car is not copied from a better car. Yeah, and right now I think I don't recall I have seen S. Banerjee before. I'm seeing him for the first time on track. Right now, based on the initial impression, there's quite a large difference between the drivers. The current man on pole, S. Banerjee, is a whopping 4 tenths ahead of the car behind. But a lot of big hitters in this league have not yet set their laps. That includes the Mercedes of Kapil Bharat, Chinoy, and Amit Kuti, of course, who actually won the maiden race. And we have not seen him for the past 4 races, but he is now finally back on track, and he has come out with a brand new wheel out of the box. I believe he has gotten a new Fanatec Club Sport, so he'd definitely be looking forward to show how
He's on a hot lap right now.
Yep.
So we'll see where he comes.
Yeah, I remember in the first race in Misano, he absolutely dominated the race. And we have Dwaragnath, who's in the Audi R8, who's just 700ths of Banerjee. And we now have Amit Kuti has begun his lap. So let's stay on board, let's see how he goes. Hard on the brakes. He gently goes in the throttle. His car definitely has a lot of stability coming out of the corners. As we see him gently turning in. So I did some research, and an interesting point is that the Audi is an extremely good car on turn-in, but can be a bit snappy on exit.
Yeah, it looks like it's the rear end is a little wobbly around these corners, and he has to slow down quite a bit to take these corners smoothly. Yeah, let's just.
Yep, and as he takes a chicane.
This is one of the most trickiest chicanes of the track, and it's really hard to get that part of the racetrack as good as possible. It's really hard.
Absolutely, Adi. This track is comprised of flowing corners. If you mess up one corner, you're losing time through the entire second and third sector.
Yep. Most drivers would call this track a street circuit because it has a lot of characteristics of a street circuit.
Yeah, I think, but at least compared to street circuit, the walls are not that close, and we see
Yeah.
that there's a Ferrari ahead of him, and I hope that the Ferrari of Nandan does not block. But the Nandan himself has had a pretty respectable lap, doing 6 tenths of pole. And as Amit Koti crosses the line, is that the line? No, he goes P4.
Oh, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, but I think he
Fine
got
time.
impeded a bit by the Ferrari, but I think, and he'll be doing multiple laps, and he will be hoping to improve his lap time. Yep, and we are now on board with Adil Chinoy, who I believe has come out for his lap.
Out of the pit.
Adil is one of the fastest guys in the IRC Formula 1 league.
Yep, he
And
is.
I think it's his first race, right?
It's his second race actually. He did race in Britain. I believe he ultimately retired after his brakes failed. Quite a lot of drivers out on track. Yep, and as we mentioned, the pink Porsche. Oh, speaking of pink Porsche, wasn't there a particular pink Porsche that was absolutely dominant in WEC, commonly referred to as the pink pig?
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
it
I
was.
referring to.
I think it
pink
was an
Porsche.
all-female team.
No, this is very early on. This pink Porsche was way early. I think it came in the 1990s. Yeah.
Oh, and there's Faizan spinning out over there.
He's in the McLaren, and I don't think the McLaren is probably one of the slower cars in the game from what I've heard, but it is an absolutely sexy looking car, the 720S. Yep, and we have K Chowdhury here, who I don't think is KC66, but he is also K Chowdhury. We have Aditya Jain, our admin, properly known as Dreyfus. Yep.
So this is the exact same livery he's going to use for the 12-hour race in RCA.
Yeah, it's in Bathurst.
12 hours
It's in Bathurst, right?
Yeah. Yes, 12 hours of Bathurst. So he's doing it along with Ghost, Traitor and Ninja.
Yep, it will be absolutely. Hopefully, our boys do extremely well. And we have Richie Gyan, who has in fact switched from the Lexus RCF into the Audi R8. So it'll be interesting how he's able to improve on his previous car. And as we go, we can see that Amit Koti has in fact improved to P3. He is just 3 tenths off the pole sitter right now. So S Banerjee is will definitely be looking to improve, extend his lead, but it's not going to be easy for him.
I think he's less than a tenth of the pole sitter.
Yeah, the 700ths, my bad.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for the correction. And we have Adil Chinoy, who I don't think is in a hot lap right now, but we will find out soon enough.
This livery resembling the McLaren of McLaren Mercedes days very, very much.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, is also in Mercedes.
Yep. Okay, let's go through the timetable right now. So here we can see the sector times. Very interestingly, something that immediately stands out for me is that S Banerjee has not gotten purple sectors in all 3 sectors, but he seems to be the one who has so far done the best lap so far. We can see that Amit Koti was absolutely rapid in the 3rd sector with Dwarakanath in the 2nd sector. Oh, and we have D Nandan, who has now gone on pole.
In a Ferrari.
Yep, a Ferrari on pole. Now that is the sight to behold.
Yeah.
A time of 1:45.8.
Yep, the battle for pole is definitely heating up right now. As we go on board Amit Koti, who seems to be beginning his hot lap, he comes right behind Streeter. I wonder if he's planning to take a slipstream. Yep.
If you look at the top 4, they're separated by just over a tenth of a second. So that is going to be a huge battle going into the race.
Definitely going to be, and we have Amit starting his lap. We have Aladdin, who is currently sitting 5 seconds off, and Faizan, who is sitting 6.5 seconds off. Chinoy has not so far set a lap. So let's go on about the fellow sitter. So we have a current pole sitter, Dean Nandan, who is now currently. We have 2 Ferraris. Are they planning a slipstream?
You can just go on board Amit Kuti.
He takes a chicane. He's currently 200s up on his lap time. We have 40 seconds left for qualifying to end. So there are definitely going to be a lot of drivers who are planning to do their final laps. We have Nandan, who is the current pole sitter. Let me try to find the P2 guy. S. Banerjee, who was of course in pole for the longest period so far. Seems to be on a hot lap himself.
If you could just stick to either the onboard or trackside cameras. Please.
Madhav, can you talk a bit louder if possible?
Yeah. If you could just avoid using third-person camera, please.
Sure.
More of onboard and cinematic.
Yep, got it. As we see Banerjee taking the corner, he's currently sitting on pole, but I'm sure Banerjee would want to say no, I'm taking that pole off you. He was gaining time, but he has now lost time. And we have Dwarakanath also, who was right behind him, and I'm not sure if he is looking for a slipstream. So qualifying is definitely over, and I believe all the drivers will now be looking to finish their laps and try to start as high as possible. As we have Banerjee, who's
Nandan is right now on provisional pole. Let's see if Dwarkanath can steal that pole position away from him.
yep. So I can't seem to find him. And as he crosses the line, he goes pole position.
Oh wow!
A very
What a lap! What a lap!
A very impressive lap by
That
Dwarakanath.
is
145.8, who's currently
also known
sitting.
as a B2 speed.
Oh, it's quite interesting. Okay, and so I believe that is qualifying over for us, guys. And I'll open up the timetable right now. So we have Dwarakanath on pole, followed by Nandan, who's sitting P2 in a Ferrari. We have Banerjee in a Bentley. We have Amit Kuti in the Audi, who's in P4. We have K. Chowdhury, who's in the Lexus, who's sitting in P5, followed by Kapil Bharat in AMG. Something to highlight is Kapil has always gained positions in the race, so it'll be a very exciting battle to watch. But I do think the top 4. Oh, and Nandan takes back pole from Dwarakanath by 600th of a second.
Oh wow!
Yep.
It's also a good showing by Adil Chinoy for only his second race to take P11.
Yep, definitely. And of course, we in ACC is much more setup sensitive, so it is quite possible that a lot of people have set up their cars for the quali, but not so much for the race. So it'll definitely be very interesting how the race progresses. Yep. So as we have Krupanand, who was in the Lamborghini and was now switched to the Audi. He is now sitting in P7, followed by Etyagi in the McLaren. I think he has there's the highest qualifying McLaren yet in the season. The first McLaren to enter the top 10. Followed, I think there's also Aditya Jain, also known as Gryphus, his highest qualifying position yet in P9, followed by A. Chowdhury in the Aston Martin. His teammate is of course not here, but we hope that he'll be back soon. Who's in the Aston Martin? We have Adil Chinoy, 4-time WTC in a F1 League, who's in P11. You have Casey, who is in P12, followed by Streeter in P13. We have Richie Gyan, who has made the transition from the Lexus to the Audi, who's sitting in P14, followed by Dvajin in the pink Porsche in P15, and he is trailed by his fellow mate in the same car, Saurabh Basin, I believe. And we have Shrock in a Ferrari, who's in P17, and we have Samad Habib, named after washing powder, called as washing powder Nirma, and who's also the teammate of Madhav in F1. In P18, we have Supreme Leader Aladdin. I hope he does not exploit his dictatorial tendencies in today's race. Yeah, and we have Faizan who's in P20 in the McLaren. We have 8 seconds to go. We'll be starting soon. And let's see. What do you think? Do you think so? I'm very interested to see if all of them will keep. It's a very narrow track, and it'll be very interesting to see if everyone comes out of this unscathed. Yep, and we just heard the sounds of those roaring V8s, V10s, and V6s.
Looking at the past
Flat
few races,
sixes,
I've seen that Dwarkanath is a pretty good starter. So let's see if he can snatch P1 at the start of the race.
Yep, I believe there's a rolling start.
Yeah,
it's a rolling start.
Green light, go, go, go.
and it's green light, and it's
Green flag and
Dwarkanath does take P1.
Shit, 1 second, guys.
Ferrari of Nandan gets a really bad start. He's already lost 2 positions. There's a
Amit Kuti has gained a position, followed by Banerjee, followed by Dwarkanath.
Dwarkanath with a lightning fast start over there.
Oh, and Adil
And
Chinoy
Kuti takes the inside.
Yep.
And takes the inside, which
Chinoy
turns
already
into the
has
outside
got drives
eventually, and
authority.
is fighting with Banerjee. And for the next corner, he has the inside, so I think he will get this position, and he does.
He does get into P2.
He
Yes.
is good.
But Banerjee is still not giving up. He's still putting up a fight, and Nandan gets the position of Banerjee.
Yep.
Rather
And
than
really
not
unlucky
trying
for
to
him.
make amends.
absolutely. And as we see, can see that Dwarkanath has pulled a quite a good lead, and Amit Kuti will be looking to chase down that particular gap. We have Kapil, who has also gained nearly 3 positions. It will be quite interesting if we make further progress down. We have Banerjee, who had a terrible start, sitting in P5 right now, followed by Krupan.
Oh,
Yes,
and
he goes into the back of Banerjee and Krupan, and then spins him out.
Yep. Quite unfortunate for
Taps.
him. He'll definitely be looking to make that pace up. In that chaos, we have a driver with a drive-through. I'm not sure what happened. Probably jumped the start, and he's now currently in dead last. And we have A. Chowdhury, who's sitting in the pits.
I think he is going to
Yep,
win.
And as we see, Faizan going on the inside of K. Chowdhury. Actually, Samad
good.
Habib.
That's a really good
Ahmad Habib.
Really, is he
Habib
going
is
to
looking back to take the position, and he has the inside line for the next corner. Will he get it though?
He's ahead of the
Already
straight.
ahead. They put both brakes on. Habib breaks just a bit later than Faizan, but Faizan
little
gets the
too
switch
late.
back onto him. And to the next corner also, Habib is having the inside line, so
Oh,
Good
and
defensive drive from Habib.
and Faizan taps the back of Habib. And as they go side by side. And Habib.
Good
Right.
defensive drive from Habib.
yeah.
Good talk on Habib, keeping the car on track. Oh, and Faizan completely cuts the track.
Faizan completely cuts the corner.
And Kapil seems to have had a spin himself and has fallen back from running P5 to P14. He is now in a sandwich with Streeter and Chowdhury. K. Chowdhury has also lost quite a lot of positions. We have Supreme Leader Aladdin, who has went from P19 to P12. So a very impressive start from him. Let's see if he can keep that place. We have Basin, who's now sitting in P12. Very impressive. Who will now be trying to make the most of his position. The pink Porsche.
That is going on track right now. There's a huge train of cars from P6, I think.
Yep. P5 actually.
Alright. P5. Oh, actually, is he new?
So going to the battle up front, right now we have Amit Kuti who's chasing Dwarkanath. The gap has more or less remained constant at around a second, so it'll be quite interesting how this progresses. We have Nandan also, who's slowly who also has a 2 second gap ahead to Kuti, but I think he'd be more worried about Banerjee, who's hot on his states. Yep.
Definitely. You see Dreyfus now putting up a fight to Tyagi in the McLaren. Will he be looking to make a move next lap? We'll see.
Yep, this is exact, but it's proving to be quite a difficult challenge to pull out to overtake here.
Yep, this is one of the most difficult tracks to overtake, I believe, and Dreyfus is keeping right onto his gearbox, so that's going to help him down the straight.
Yep. So behind oh, I just realized K. Chowdhury is not Kalpesh Chowdhury. It's actually Chris Bhai.
Yes.
Oh yes, my bad.
So we actually have 3 Chowdhurys.
Yeah. So currently we essentially have 3 packs in the top 10. We have the 2 Audis in front with the lead Audi pulling a gap slowly. We have D Nandan who's in the Ferrari, but he's being chased by the Bentley of S Banerjee, followed by a pack of 4. We have Tyagi, Jain, Gyan, and Casey, who are in their own pack, and very interesting how this particular battle evolves. And of course, once I think we'll see the biggest change in position at the pit stop. So what do you guys think? So obviously, and we have the Porsche hitting the wall. Definitely has damage. We'll have to pit. So what do you guys think about everyone's pit strategies? So in ACC, generally speaking, people opt for. People only change the fuel, but people generally don't opt for a tire change because it takes too much time. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the fuel loads each driver is carrying is impacting the performance quite a lot?
I think you have to change tires, isn't it?
No, the rule is that you have to pit if you change tires or you put in fuel. It's your choice. You just have to pit.
Yeah, you just have to pit.
And
Good.
Bharat chasing down Basin, and let's see if he makes a move right here. And
looking really twitchy and desperately trying to get past Basin.
Will he go for a dive?
He will do into the next corner.
And
he breaks too early.
he's waiting.
Yep.
He's waiting patiently for the long straight, and I think he's looking for the inside 9 into corner 1.
The AMG is one of the quickest cars in the straight line, but it is still a challenge to overtake here, especially when Basin has the slipstream of the pink Porsche ahead.
Yeah, actually in GT cars the slipstream doesn't play as big as an effect as it does in F1.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
And Bharat now going for the move inside, makes a dive and takes
That was an amazing move.
P10 from Basin. Great.
And as we can see the sun setting in the Hungaroring. We have another pack over here. Yep, we have another angle here with Streeter. We have Streeter followed by K. Chowdhury, followed by S. Habib. They have, I believe Habib has made up a lot of ground after his slight scrap with Faizan.
I think he has come out on top of that battle with Faizan.
Yep, he has pulled nearly a 30 seconds lead. Not 30 seconds, I believe. 25 second lead. 25 actually.
Yeah, 25 seconds.
We have Kapil, who's now hot on the tail of Dwajin, and he easily gets a move done. I believe Dwajin has damage after that collision with the wall, and that is definitely.
Interestingly, he chooses not to fit to repair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's holding him up.
Yep, for sure. And
at the moment, Dwajin is a mobile chicane for all the drivers if he does not pit.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Why is the line active? I just noticed that the line is becoming active. So give me a second, guys.
It has been active since the start.
Oh, wait. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for that.
Ideal line, the last option.
Yep.
There you go.
Much better.
Yeah. But why is it still there?
Still, I have
Okay. Just give me a second. Well, I believe. Okay, wait.
and having some technical difficulties.
Yep.
Tyagi has now pulled out a healthy gap ahead of Jane.
And Pichigian is right on
Right on his
gearbox, yep. And so is KC66. These three are putting up a fantastic little scrap for us.
And Jen runs a bit wide and he keeps the position. Great defensive drive.
This part of the track is generally a bit difficult to overtake.
Oh yeah, apparently I guess we'll have to bear us with that horrible line on the track. We'll have to restart the game, but hopefully for the next stream we can sort this out. Yep, and we have among that chaos we actually had Banerjee who got past Nandan, and Nandan will be here trying to get that position back. And Amit Kuti has also closed the gap on Dwaraknath. I think it was at 1.3 seconds, and he has now closed it down to 1.4 to within 2 seconds. And I believe even the pack of Banerjee and Nandan have closed up to the Audis. We have Casey and Richikyan going side by side. Richikyan on the outside.
Also, we could take Dean back to the game.
We can once again see that Amit Kuti seems to be closing in on Dwaraknath. Yes, that gap has just fallen down from 1.5 to 1.3 seconds. So definitely a chase going on. Tyagi seems to be pulling that gap to Jane even more. Perhaps Jane has used too much fuel in the while chasing him and is now forced to be on the defensive.
So I think you have gotten to the change the theme back to the game.
We have Kapil who's now slowly closing the gap into. Got it.
No.
So we now have Basin who's right now chasing down.
Yes.
Casey in the pits, I think. Yeah, Casey is in the pits.
Yep, he's the first. Bentley is the first to pit. That livery absolutely looks good. We have Chowdhury who's been in the pits from the beginning of the race.
I think he is retired.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. And this gap.
The Porsche of Aladdin.
Kuti spins.
He gets over the curb and absolutely spins off.
He loses that battle.
To Banerjee.
Yep.
He has lost.
And also
Yep.
his hope of winning the race is out the window now.
Tyagi seems to be flying right now. He seems to be closing on that front pack, so that is definitely quite interesting to see.
Yeah. Lost 3 positions.
Yep.
So at this point, Banerjee is 2.5 seconds behind Nandan, and he seems to be closing that gap very quickly.
I believe at one point they were right behind each other, but it does seem that Nandan has actually managed to put a gap back, as we now see them get past some back markers, but the back markers are right now in the pits.
And there's a black flag being waved. Not you noticed.
And we have Kapil Bharat, who has been closing on this particular pack. Not sure, not sure about fuel load he's running, but he's definitely at the current rate he's progressing. A P6 can be his. This particular pack seems to have broken up. I believe this pack was consisted of Streeter, Basin, and K. Chowdhury, and Streeter seems to have fallen back quite a bit.
Chris K. Chowdhury, also known as Chris Bai, is chasing down Basin right now.
Yep.
I don't think he is catching up. I think he is actually falling back.
That's quite true.
Right now, all the cars' headlights are turning on, and we can see what these cars look at during the night and how they are able to perform once the sun sets.
Yeah, it's nearly 8 p.m. I think once it's 8 p.m., I think it'll be quite dark.
Yep.
So Kuti, after that,
driving at night is a completely different challenge, if you ask me. Like, you see barely anything in front of you, and it's all alone. It's all based on muscle memory alone. You can't see what is ahead.
yeah, I think that's also one reason why we don't have F1 in an improperly lit circuit.
These cars do have headlights though, so
Yeah, it should be a bit easier, but even then, I think the drivers, because they can't see beyond, say, 50 meters, the drivers would definitely become more conservative.
yeah.
But Dwarakanath seems to be, with the pressure of Amit Kuti removed, he seems to be pulling the gap to Nandan.
Yeah. Amit Kuti seems to be catching back Tyagi though.
Yeah.
So it definitely looks like Amit. Although his hope of the race win might be over, but he has a bit of an oversteer moment right there.
Yep.
And although his hope of a podium might be over, hope of a race win might be over, he can still hope for a podium at this pace that he's got.
Yep.
Because right now he's looking to be the fastest driver on the track.
Yep, absolutely. We have Richie Gyan. I think this gap has been has been slowly reducing, but among other things, Kapil Bharat is now.
Gyan runs wide. Gyan runs very wide.
I believe the drivers have generally seen them. They take extremely wide lines with these cars. That's what I've generally noticed.
Yeah. Interesting thing, and would like to point out, we see some cars running their high beams while some are still on their low beams.
Quite interesting. I believe a lot of people have their preferences.
Richie Gyan is into the pits, is serving his mandatory pit stop now, and let's see where he comes out.
You can see quite a few cars who are now crossing the line. Shock giving way.
is slowing down.
Yeah, he's a back marker. He's giving way.
Oh.
Streeter has caught back up.
Streeter now in the fight to take P8, and Seen is slowly catching up to Chowdhury to take P7.
So going back to Richie Gyan, he is still in the pits. Seems to be having quite a long pit stop.
Speaking of the night time, it's going to be. It's already a very difficult track to overtake in, and at night it becomes even more difficult. So that's a huge challenge for these drivers to now brake later while not being able to see much of the track.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, as we see some of
Oh,
that
the
AMG
flame.
backfire.
That
Yep.
was
Oh, you can
beautiful.
see you can see the red hot exhaust.
Exhaust.
You know, running extremely wide. I have a feeling his brakes have failed based on how wide he went there.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's. Yeah, his brakes have started fading now.
Yep. I think he will be making a pit stop soon. You have KC66 who has also pitted, running P13, followed by the back marker Supreme Leader Aladdin. Habib has not yet pitted, is in P12, but looks to be hot on the tails of Vajin. Banerjee has boxed, and I think the lead Ferrari Nandan has not yet, not lead for the Ferrari of Nandan has not yet pitted yet. But Banerjee,
Banerjee.
Through. Keep it up.
Seeing a lot of flames coming out of the side exit exhausts there.
Yep.
Basin has
Bas-
pitted, going into the pits. I think a couple of other cars are also pitted ahead of him.
Yeah, it's that pack of
Streeter
Chowdhury, Streeter, and Boston, and we can see that Streeter has in fact gotten past Dvajin. Sorry, Basin. A lot of cars right now.
They're racing in the pits.
I don't think the stewards would have a happy moment about that. We have Tyagi who gets
Who's coming?
past.
Tyagi coming out of the pits, and
Habib and past Tyagi.
Yeah.
Habib is still yet to pit, so
Yep. So Amit Kuti and Dwaraknath has not yet pitted right now, and they are now running P1, P2, and there's a 10-second lead. I wonder what Amit Kuti would be looking. Would he be looking for an overcut? Would he be looking for an undercut? It'll be quite interesting how this progresses. Couple running P3. He was chasing down Richie Gan, who has decided to box.
neither of the top three have pitted, so it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
what are the strategies that are going to be playing out.
I believe it was in. Which is Britain, which is the last race, Nürburgring, the race before Nürburgring. I remember that Kapil had a very long first stint, but then but because of that particular long stint, he became extremely compromised, and he actually lost positions than what he could have gained.
Yep. As we now see, the track has now become pitch black and it's almost impossible to see anything other than the car's headlights and the racing line.
Let's go on board, Tyagi. Habib going very wide.
Tyagi goes for the move on the inside and sticks it to take P5. Great move by Tyagi, and Habib pits him.
Habib pits. Yeah. This is a particularly narrow pit lane. I think it's a bit challenging to keep it high.
Bharat coming out of the pits, and he comes out in P5.
So it doesn't seem that
Oh,
bad.
and
He has lost only two
and
positions.
Chennai got another drive-through. Perhaps he sped too much into the pit lane.
Yeah, he hasn't served his pit stop yet, so
Yep.
he could drive for a while.
Dwaraknath has pitted, and Amit Kuti is currently leading the race, but he will be looking to pit soon.
So Amit Kuti is definitely going for the overcut. Let's see how that is going to work out for him.
My bad, that chase cam is horrible. Not to mention the ideal line. Just give me a second. Let's see if I can turn it off. Give me a second. We'll just enter back in. If I can turn my.
Switch scenes, please.
Yeah. I just think I have to make my. Let's see if it.
Green light. Give it a look again.
Is still there?
I don't think so. I think it's finally gone. Finally got rid of it.
Yeah, finally. It's starting to get on my nerves. Much better. As we can now really tackle. Now we can clearly see what the drivers have to tackle through.
Absolutely pitch black. You cannot see anything without your headlights. Quick question: if you have an accident, can it damage your headlights?
Yes.
I think it
does.
probably will. But the question is like,
That
will you
is-
get disqualified or will you have to like? I mean, if you get your headlights damaged in the middle of the track, like as you said, do you choose to what do you call? Like you can't make it back to the place with no headlights, right?
You can. So you're not allowed to run without headlights. You will have to pit and get them repaired.
No, as in, let's say I'm halfway. Let's say I am in sector 2, and my headlights go off.
Yep, you have to drive with your rear hazards on. I believe that is the rules.
Interesting.
The drivers will do anything to be in the race.
Yeah.
They find every single opportunity they can.
Yep.
Because it's a sense of pride when you get good results.
Yep, so right now we have we had a battle between S Banerjee and Nandan, and that battle seems to have gone in the favor of S Banerjee, who is now currently sitting 20 seconds ahead of D Nandan. After both their respective pit stops. So before we go,
Could he finally pits?
Yep. So it'll be interesting where he comes out. No,
Could see the
Oh, sorry.
correct order instead of track position.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up. So let's have a look.
Yep.
So Madhav,
Amit Kuti is leading. He hasn't pit yet, and he has a 25-second lead. So
Every
from-
single driver has pit except Kuti. So
And-
let's see
and
where he gets
Faizan.
out.
and Faizan, yeah.
Okay, my bad. Let's see where he gets out. There's a 25-second gap.
I
Let's
don't
see if he
think
gets out in
he's going to get out ahead. 25 seconds is way too small of a gap for him to get out.
But he has pulled a gap compared to I think when Dwaraknath boxed, he was 23 seconds behind, and that has now gone down to I believe gone up to 25 seconds. So if he boxes now, he will have the better tires towards the end.
Kuti
He's
going
still
for
faster
out for
even on
another
older
lap.
tires.
Yep. I believe tire wear is not much of an issue here. It's more about the tire temperatures here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, as-
And also it's night time, so that's going to be
Yeah.
helping the temperatures quite a bit.
Yep, for sure.
As you can see the glowing red exhaust on that Bentley.
Yep, definitely. Lot of heat coming out of it. We have Kapil has pitted,
Bharat,
and he has actually come ahead of the Ferrari in P4, and he is now hounding Tyagi. Will
I
he go?
think he'll be able to make that move into the.
Absolutely.
I think Kapil's in for a podium today.
Quite possibly.
Oh,
And he
takes
waits.
later.
He breaks a little too early.
Waits for him to go wide, gets the inside line in the next corner. Tyagi is still ahead.
I think he's going to try for the next lap now.
Yeah.
After turn 3, there's really no chance for overtake anywhere else.
You need to at the very least get side by side at T1.
You can go for an audacious move into the chicane, but it's really hard to make it stick.
You need to be really brave for. You need to be really brave to pull off a move like that. It's very tight part of the track.
So I believe this pack was joined by Richie Gyan, who I cannot seem to find. I believe Richie Gyan has left the session, and quite unfortunate from him. It was looking to be a spicy battle that he was having with Jane and Casey.
Casey now looking for a move onto Jane, and he waits for the. I think he's waiting for the straight now, but he might go for the move.
I think Dreyfus went a bit wide, and I think got the position. No, he hasn't.
Casey is still
Okay.
on. And I think he
Now he gets the position.
A beautiful move, but will
and
Bentley is really fast on a straight line.
but will really fight back.
And Jane
Yeah.
outbreaks him. Great scrap going on here.
And I believe Kapil has fallen back a bit. I think he tried for a move that did not really work out with Tyagi. Amit Kuti has boxed now. I believe at the pit stop the gap was I believe 10 seconds. That gap has now fallen down to 7 seconds. So it will be quite interesting if he can catch up. But he of course needs to get past
Looks like
Banerjee.
he's catching up really fast to the car ahead.
Casey has still not been able to
Banerjee
move.
not able to get past backmarker. The backmarker not giving. Oh, and he finally gives way to him. So I think Banerjee Dwarkanath is quite safe. He just needs to keep it on
So
track.
Amit Kuti has pitted and he has come out in P3 15 seconds behind Dwarkanath.
Yeah, that's quite a big ask given that they're an equal car. I mean, they're in the same car.
Yeah, but he's shown a lot of promise, and he'll be having fresher tires towards the end, and he'll be looking to close that gap down.
This battle looks absolutely hot, neither giving any weight to them.
Casey looking for a way onto the inside.
Casey absolutely
Holding back.
Casey absolutely pounding the pressure on Dreyfus.
And look
Turned
how
up the
he
pressure
closes
to
in on
11.
the chicane.
I believe Dreyfus outbroke himself and went a bit wide on the entry. Well, Casey got a much better line.
Casey is looking really feisty on Dreyfus's gearbox.
We are
Casey
now
looking for any gap he can get to get ahead of Jen right now.
Fantastic battle between these two guys. Neither of them giving an inch, and let's see what happens on the main straight now.
Yep. So the Ferrari is one of the powers. So funny fact, Ferrari is one of the least powered cars in this game, and the Bentley is one of the most powerful cars. But it does seem Dreyfus got a much better exit, or perhaps Casey is saving fuel.
Yep, the balance of performance really
And
coming into play here.
Casey runs wide a bit. And who's this?
It does seem that Dreyfus has
And Dreyfus runs very wide.
wide. I had mentioned a few minutes ago that it seemed like Dreyfus's brakes were fading, and I think that is coming and that is coming into picture here.
Heading towards
Casey's going at it again.
long right-hander before the chicane. If he can make the move stick on the outside,
An audacious
And-
move, and he makes it
and-
stick. What
but
a
he
move!
goes
what a
wide.
move.
He goes wide himself.
But
and
he makes it stick.
stick.
What a move! What a move!
What an amazing move. Both of them giving just enough room to stay on track.
We have K. Chowdhury, who's fighting with Habib right now. Would be quite.
Interestingly, Faizan is the only driver on track who is yet to pit. They're just under 7 minutes to go, and
I
he's
think
waiting for the last minute.
I think is cherishing the highest position he's been so far.
What position did he start in? I think
He was P20 actually.
P20.
Chaudhary now on the gearbox of Habib, and he's looking for any avenue he can get.
Both the Lexuses trying to fight it out.
Yeah, you can see the difference in the headlights. Habib has only his low beams while Chaudhary has his high beams turned on. There's big headlamps right in the middle of the bumper.
Chaudhary now going for the inside, and does he make the move? Yes, he does, and makes. Does he stick with it?
I think Habib
yes,
was
yes.
a bit too cautious with that. Gave him
And
way too
Chaudhary
much
gets the
room.
move done. But let's see if Habib can get back on the straight, and he gets a poor run out of that corner. So he's on the tail. Let's see if he can outbreak himself.
I think it's just too far
He's just
behind.
too far back. Yeah.
See the
But
beautiful
he's-
night sky over there.
Yep, that's amazing.
Chaudhary now pulling away
Chaudhary
beautifully
is
from
not-
Habib.
Looking good. Coming back to our favorite battle, it does seem Casey has not pulled the gap.
A very, very
Yep.
healthy gap ahead from Jan.
Yep, and I think right now, Graphic is, if you guys can the lap times on the bottom right, you can see that Casey is in fact 3 seconds faster at the moment. Per lap, of course.
If you could just stick to the track order instead of track position.
Sure.
Right now,
Looked like Faizan has finally pit.
And he has a stop-go penalty of 30 seconds.
And that
is
will-
his race over.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
will-
no, technically he did finish higher than he started because 2 people left the race.
It's still no points.
We have Shrock. I think he was in a pretty good position, but seems to have fallen back. Not sure what happened. I think the AMG of Chinoy has also left the race.
Yeah.
Nandan and Tyagi are pretty close together. That's the closest battle we have right now.
Yep.
Otherwise, all the other cars seem to be pretty spaced out.
Yep, for sure.
There's a battle going on behind Nandan, I think. Okay, no, it's just a back marker
Back marker, yeah.
of
Yep.
Bajin.
We have, and the couple is, I think would have nearly been on the podium, I guess. But he's, I think, currently too far off the P3 guy in Amit in P3.
Amit Kuti. And Amit Kuti, he has blistering pace right now.
Yep.
Only
He
3
had
minutes
a
and 40
15
seconds left in
second
the
gap.
race now.
He has managed to reduce that gap to 7 seconds.
No, it's actually still 15. 15 seconds was to Dwaraknath.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the gaps among the top 3, they have more or less remained constant.
Dwarkanath has
Okay.
had a stellar drive throughout the whole race.
Yep.
He's 7 seconds ahead of P2 right now, and he's on for the win.
This gap is from. Okay, never mind. Gap to the car.
Bharat makes the move on Nandan, I think, or is Nandan already behind him?
I think he's a lap car. No, actually, no. He was in P4 already.
Yeah, he wasn't already in P4. I think Nandan
Yeah.
perhaps lost a lot of time in the pit stop and he ended up far behind the leaders.
Right
think
now,
right now he's
Nandan
trying
is
to make
beginning to
amends.
catch up to Kapil. Let's see how this battle turns out. And then braking a lot later than Kapil in the corners. So
Yep.
you might see
Nandan might go for the move on this mini straight here. Let's see.
I think he's just a bit too far back. And the Mercedes is, I think,
It's
one of the
ridiculous.
fastest cars in a straight line, so that's going to help Kapil a bit on the straight.
Yep, but the Ferrari is also one of the most stable cars, so that gives the luxury that the Ferrari can make moves that other drivers don't expect.
Nandan
He
gets
can get a better exit out of the final corner and hopefully
Yeah.
get the slipstream down the straight.
Nandan gets a beautiful exit. He's right on the chop of Bharat. Let's see if he makes a move. But Bharat
Kapil got
is
a better
pulling out.
exit.
But Bharat is pulling out.
Even with the slipstream, the AMG is pulling further ahead. But you can see just how much the Ferrari gets close on the braking.
In braking and the corners, yeah. Getting much better entries and exits through the corners.
Yep.
And that mid-engine really helping him out.
Yep.
Unlike the Mercedes, which is a front-engine car.
Absolutely. Tyagi seems to have fallen a bit behind. He was having quite an interesting battle with Kapil. Once again, coming back to the battle in question, we have Nandan, who is
And
currently
he's
Nathan
trying to go for the
really
move.
close on the gearbox, so we have
Will he go for the
45
move into the
seconds to go, and
And he does
looks
go
to be the
for the
final
move
lap.
into the chicane. He does go
Oh,
for the
and
move into
he-
the chicane.
he-
And
And
he... And what...
squeezes
he-
Kapil into the chicane. And
Great move by Nandan. Great move. Bharat is
Kapil would
going
be
back
looking
at
to
him
get
now.
back that position. So we have nearly 20 seconds left on the clock right now.
And
And I think
if you could
let's
just
go.
go on board the leader to check where he is.
he is currently going into T1. So we are finally in the...
Okay, so we are going to get one more lap.
Yep, we're going to get one more lap of racing for sure. We have Jane who has once again boxed. Coming back to that battle, better than Nandan, do you guys think Nandan gave back that place because...
Yes, he pulled...
Yeah. Yeah, I think he pulled
yeah.
off to one side to give the position because
That-
he felt that that wasn't right.
Yep,
So that's really good sportsmanship from Nandan.
we have Nandan again who's right on the hot
This-
tail.
This is one
That is
final
a
lap he has. And
beautiful
I think he's
camera
going
angle.
for the move. Yes, he does go for the move into T1 and makes it stick.
Yep. Late braking.
Does he go back? Goraknath
Gets
in
back
sector
past
2.
Kapil.
Kapil trying to pull a lunge back.
Kapil desperate to get back past Nandan.
And we have Goraknath, the leader, is currently in sector 2, followed by Banerjee, followed by Amit Kuti, who's fallen further behind. And coming back to our favorite battle, we have Nandan, who's currently still has not still with Bharat on the stage.
Let's see if he does go for the move into the chicane, just like Nandan did,
Oh,
and he does
Oh,
not. He
I
runs
got
wide.
the grass.
Bharat goes
Yes.
very wide. We have Dwaraknath, who's now currently in the final corner.
In the final corner, yes, led this race from
Start to
start to
finish.
finish,
Yep.
And he
Amazing
gets an
performance.
amazing win.
and he
What
wins
He
the
got it.
round 6 of Hungary.
he
I
got
mean,
an amazing start at the
he-
start. At the start, he just pulled out and just won the race spectacularly.
Yeah,
And I think Nandan finishes it off and keeps that position.
Yep.
A great scrap between these two, and what a race we had today.
Plenty of respect between them. Absolutely amazing to see.
he got back. He got the position once, but he felt that it wasn't right, so he gave it back. And then second time he made it stick without any fault. So that's really good sportsmanship from
Yep,
him.
for sure. Quite a lot of drivers right now crossing the line. We have the McLaren of Tyagi who will now cross the line.
That looks like the fireworks. are going
As you
off
see
now.
them cross the line way before the start-finish straight. Yep. So we have Casey here who's weaving,
Weaving.
enjoying his moment.
You can see the fireworks in the background
Yep.
right now.
I have to go on both.
Gryphus has been given a 30-second stop go for some reason.
Probably because I think you get a stop go if you spend too much time, too much corner cutting. Boston comes off the line,
Oh,
followed by K. Chowdhury.
yeah.
Habib. Huh, I thought he would have one extra lap. Oh yeah, of course he didn't let the leader finish behind. Oh,
And right now, ooh,
Last race too, he did donuts before the end of the race, and I think he's doing it again.
yep. Thankfully, the stewards are not the same ones in Russia who will have a dim view of that. Yep.
so
Yep. So.
right now if you can
Yep.
move on to the podium interview.
So, let me ask you guys, how was the race?
the battles bit in the race were spectacular. I enjoyed the race very, very much. The night time, the transition into the night, it was just the race was beautiful and spectacular at the same time.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So I think let me bring the
I
leaders.
can.
Let me bring the top three in. So I believe it was Dwaraknath, Amit, and who's the other guy? S. Chaudhary, no, S. Banerjee, right? Yep.
Yep.
So I see that they have been bought in. Guys, can you hear us? Amit.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, Ghost, were you S. Banerjee?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so used to seeing you as Ghost that I got totally caught out. I was wondering who was S. Banerjee.
Yeah.
Yep.
I changed it for the Bathurst 12 hours, so yeah.
Yep. Give me a sec. Let me bring them in. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening because Abhi seems to be going in and out.
Yep. It doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
able to join.
Okay. Madhav, Adi. Take it away.
Yeah. So Amit, pretty good race from you. And what was going through your mind when you were deciding to, like, undercut or overcut? What were you planning on, and how did the race turn out to be for you today? Was it as good as you expected, or would you have wanted a little bit more than this?
Yeah, first of all, the start was really good for me. I climbed like 2 places in the start, so that was really nice. And for the first 10 to 20 minutes, I guess, I was just behind Abhishek and like following him. And we were kind of having similar pace, but at the end, I started to close in a bit more to like 1.0 seconds. And I guess and then I made the mistake in the chicane, the middle sector chicane, and hit the curb, so that unsettled my car, and I spun. That was unfortunate and like put me like around 15 seconds behind everyone. I mean the leaders. So after that, I just had to bring it home, put some good laps in the remaining stint, and I just tried to stretch out the stint till the end, so that I wouldn't be caught up in any traffic, etc. And yeah, I pit around the 10 minutes to go and rejoined in third. I don't know where Devi had gone, but yeah, that was my race. Quite boring, to be fair.
Yep. Well done, man. P3. Very
Yeah,
good result.
thank you.
Are there any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So moving on to Ghost. Podium wasn't really looking uh, sure there towards in the beginning of the race, and I saw you desperately trying to get past some cars. You were really trying. You were right up the gearbox of many cars and trying to make some overtakes. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had a trouble of a lot of screen freezes today, so especially at the beginning of the race. So my screen was freezing like every 5 seconds. I couldn't figure out. So a lot. I was trying not to crash with anyone. So a lot of people kind of overtook me when my screen unfroze. Like just for a second also, it makes a difference. But yeah, in the beginning, that's where I lost the places. So I decided to pit early. Let's see, and then just stretch out the next half of the stint. Turned out pretty
Because
okay.
the screen freezes must have been an issue during the night.
Yeah, I really don't understand what caused it. I have no idea. It was just freezing, so I don't know.
All right, nevertheless, good result, man. P2.
Yeah, more or less.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is it
Yep.
for our podium interview.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Congratulations.
Yep. Congratulations. And unfortunately, the man in P1 could not join us, but he definitely gave his best, and he absolutely deserved that result. Right, guys? So
Yep.
uh, that is our race for today, and do join us on Saturday and Sunday for our F1 league. We will be racing in Montreal in the circuit Gilles de Villeneuve, and I can promise you that it's going to be an absolute cracker with the championship looking so spicy. And that's it. And we are signing off. See you guys.